Hello everyone, welcome back. It's been a while since I've talked to you here. Welcome to the new studio, or the revamped old studio. You can see we're at a different angle. We're actually in the same room, just about 6 feet to the left of where I was doing my recording. My father and I were able to get in here and do quite a bit over the last 3 or 4 weeks. He was an amazing help in helping me get the tape embed and texture done. He actually came out here and did the texture one day while I was at work. He and I then got the primer on one night, got the paint put on a Saturday, put the floor down on the next day, Sunday. You can see the floor there. Sorry for the movement. Got things put back in. You can tell, I always get that backwards. You can tell over here I do still have some things to go through. Little things. I mean, you get the thing here in the window. I don't have my blinds up yet. But the house is coming together, which has let me get back over here and really kind of get settled again, which is very nice. But that's not why I am here today. I just watched one of the latest videos from Agenda Weekly, Curtis Bowers. I'm going to link that in the description. I'm also going to have it embedded on my webpage, just because it is so important. I know that a lot of people dismiss MKUltra, CRISPR, things of that nature as conspiracy theories. And as Curtis points out through one of the clips he shows, the term conspiracy theory was actually coined by the CIA post-JFK assassination to discourage people from thinking it wasn't what the government said. The government wanted you to believe Oswald acted alone. He used a Carcano rifle from an elevated position further away than that rifle should have been able to shoot, shooting into the wind. All these things. I know people who competition shoot for a living who have said, if you set up the exact conditions of 22 November 63, you gave me the exact same rifle, exact same ammunition, I don't think I could make that shot one time out of 50. And Oswald made it 1 out of 1. We may never know until it's irrelevant, until we're on the other side of the pearly gates, what really happened that day. But you have to ask yourself, why seal the information? Donald Trump was going to unseal the files. Ordered that done. As soon as they got him out of office and got Joe Biden in, they started working. And Joe Biden has now resealed all of those documents and all that information for 55 more years. I'll be 99 if I live that long. My nephew will be 73 years old if he lives that long. And he probably will, if we don't see the end of days before then. But why is it that they're wanting to seal the information until the grandchildren of the people who were there on the ground, who were in classrooms all over the country? Why is it that the generation who watched it live can never know what happened? Their children can never know what happened. Maybe we'll let their grandchildren know when their grandchildren are too old to do anything about it. The only reason I can think of is to protect the people who are still in government today who might have had a hand in it. And there's a lot of theories going around. RFK is not the only candidate. Donald Trump ran at the behest of these people and so on and so forth. There's a lot of theories floating around. And some of them may or may not pan out. But remember, when someone calls you a conspiracy theorist, they're using a term the government coined to basically mock those who questioned the government. Now, the video I'm going to link below, and the video, it will be embedded in a post I'm going to put on my website, on my WordPress site. He talks about MKUltra and CRISPR and other things, trans-humanism. I can tell you right now, the idea of transhumanism, as far as Gattaca or The Matrix or Johnny Mnemonic or any of those movies where you see people that have a hard drive in their head and they can read at a glance and they can take pictures with a blink and they can run faster, jump higher, punch harder, and they become part machine, but they're still part human, so they still have a soul. All those pipe dreams. That's not going to happen, folks. You start splicing out part of your genetics, you're no longer human. I don't want to find out what I would become if I did that. I just don't. I have this recurring thought. There is a series called Mr. Roboto, Rami Malek. And one of the premises was that, I think it was Mr. Roboto, it might have been a different series, but it was Rami Malek. He was the last pure human on the planet. Everyone else had so spliced themselves and so changed themselves, they were no longer human. And he was basically a sideshow oddity. Because, oh my Lord, look, the last real human. Don't you feel insignificant? Don't you feel like you should start becoming like us so you can be better? And quite frankly, if you ask me that, my answer would be no. I was born human, I'll die human. And I have no objections to that. But this is not something that is being driven by pure human desire to live longer, live healthier, stronger lives. This is Satan and his desire to thwart God. His desire to pervert everything God created. Since the dawn of time, God created the heavenly host, and Lucifer, the first among equals, decided he would be as the Most High. He would be higher than God, and he rebelled. Since then, his only goal has been to corrupt God's creation on earth, to corrupt humans. Misery loves company, after all. So his goal, quite simply, is to drag as many humans to hell with him as he can. There's a wonderful line in a music video by Carmen. It's from the 90s, called Revival in the Land. And in it you see the devil tell one of his minions to remind the saints of their past. And the minion says, "But sir, they'll just remind you of your future." And that's what we need to do. It's what we must do every time. I'm not going to go into too much detail on what the Rumble video goes into because he says it much more eloquently than I can. He has clips of people who are far more intelligent than I am, who are able to put all of this into the right context. But I would highly recommend that you watch it because it puts such an amazing context on so many of the things that we've been hearing for so long. And quite frankly, it is frightening to see how far the enemy has come in such a short time. This work began not even 2 decades before I was born. And here I am, 44 years old, and they've almost achieved everything they need to before they can just start doing it to people. And notice they're not coming from my generation. They're not coming for those who are in their very late 30s or their early to mid 40s or older. They're going for the kids. They're pushing for this to be done to children. And they are determined to do this to everyone. Now, of course, then that does beg the question, if this is going to end humanity, why are they doing it? Because they're human. One thing that I have maintained since all of this began with the emergence of these so-called vaccines last fall, when, amazingly, all of the Democrats running for president, all of the Democratic governors all over the country, I will not take the Trump vaccine. We need to be diligent and we need to be inquisitive. We need to question this. As soon as 3rd November was over and they declared Joe Biden as the winner, as soon as they had solidified that win and they had declared, we won, you lost, get over it, move on, don't even look at anything, just accept it. As soon as they made that declaration, they did a 180. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, two people who were vehement that they would never take the Trump vaccine, suddenly demanded we all do it. Biden has now even come out and openly said the vaccine was developed under a Republican administration and is being distributed by a Democratic administration. He's admitted the vaccine he stoked fear about prior to the election and then ordered you to take after the election is the same vaccine. And, of course, we have the MEV, the MEV, mid-election variant. We're less than a year away from the 2022 midterms. And I can all but guarantee you that we will be on our 9th or 10th or 15th variant that will, of course, be so mutated and so different from the one before it that it will require a new vaccine that's not available yet. So, of course, we will just have to use mail-in voting. There's no way around it. Just accept it. This is never going to stop. They're never going to do anything but push forward with their agenda to rule the planet. And quite frankly, I'm never going to stop opposing that agenda. I suggest you never stop doing it either. I'm going to close with this because this is something that is very important in my life right now. As of about 8 o'clock at night, last Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, I have not had a cigarette. Those of you who have been watching me for a while probably would be able to tell I was a smoker. There would be cuts in these videos, sometimes where I would splice things in, other times just where I would have a cough. And I would cut enough of the video prior to the splice out to where none of that made it in. I haven't had to do that this time. I have been now, as of 7:30, I have been 47 and a half hours without a cigarette. I'll tell you, it's not easy. It stinks royally. But something happened on Wednesday that the smell of a cigarette when I went outside about 8 o'clock to have a cigarette, I'd already decided I wasn't going to smoke indoors, but I went outside to have a smoke, and the smell of it just turned to my stomach. So I put it out and said, no, don't really feel that good, I'm going to bed. Got up on Thanksgiving, went next door to my parents, helped them, had Thanksgiving with them, spent time with the family, did some other things. Never had one, didn't even think about it. And then about 8 o'clock that night, realized I'd gone a day. And as I said to someone on TikTok, if you can go a day, you can go 2. If you can go 2, you can go 3. If you can go 3, you can go 5. It's a mindset now. The first 72 hours are the hardest. That is the chemical life in your body. And yes, I'm using the patch because withdrawal is worse than using it. I hope I don't need to use the whole 14-day regimen, but I will if I have to. Because, quite honestly, I'm 44. I've smoked since I was 18. And I should have quit this 26 years ago. I should have put the first one down and said never again. But I didn't. And I'm tired of the coughing. I'm tired of the lethargy. I'm tired of being out of breath after walking 30 yards. I'm just tired of all of it. I'm not sleeping 100% better yet, but my sleep schedule is getting better. I'm not out of breath as much as I used to be. I'm not as lethargic as I used to be in the afternoons. I'm already, even after only 4 days, seeing an improvement. But I would ask that you pray for me to continue to be able to do this. Only with only with strength God gives can I do this, because if I lean on my own strength, I'm going to fail every time. But we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And where two or more gather in his name, he is there. We know these are truth. So I'm asking for your prayer and your support. If I can get to the 14-day mark, and I know I can, so let me rephrase that. When I get to the 14-day mark without a cigarette, I will be done. I won't need them ever again. Doesn't mean I won't be tempted. I'll go out with friends, and so I'll walk by and I'll walk through that little haze of it, and I'll smell it, and I'll remember that I did enjoy just going outside and sitting down under a tree, having a cigarette and not thinking about anything, no phone, no iPad, no computer in front of me, just sitting down outside, having a cigarette. But I can still go do that without the cigarette. So I know I'll be tempted, but I'll be tempted, then I'll remember how horrible I felt the whole time I was a smoker, how much money I wasted, and I'll say, no, I'm not going to do it. Thank you for all of the support. I just want to thank you now. I don't know if I'll get back to a regular schedule on YouTube, but I know you can find me on TikTok and High Notes as Sheepdog Smokey, all run together. On Clapper, I am Sheepdog_Smokey. Actually, kind of moving over to that platform just because TikTok has proven to be just like so many others. As an example, a video where I'm sitting like I am here. You're seeing me from the upper chest up. I'm wearing a shirt, sitting alone in my living room. And 2 videos, both of them like this, on the same night. One reported for child safety, the other reported for adult nudity and sexual situations. There are no children in my home. I'm not nude, and there's nothing sexual about sitting in a chair. Yet when I appealed them, the response was, our decision stands. The video will not be restored. When I emailed and stated, no one has watched the video, or they would see that the report was false, I got no reply. They have come down on the side of, unless you are a pliant little lemming marching lockstep with the left, we're not even going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Every report is instant conviction. I've already had one account virtually banned. It's now shadow banned so bad that even followers on that account are not seeing videos. But I'm not going to give up, and I will not be silenced. I don't care how many times it takes me, how many accounts it takes. Anyway, I need to finish laundry. I need to get to bed at a decent hour because I do have work this week. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. We are very close to Christmas. Remember that it is about spending time with your family, and it is about the gift we were all given so many years ago at Calvary. Not the little things we give each other. Anyway, may God bless you this week. Have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next time.